I'm going to take a break from classic World of Warcraft content here for a minute. I know I'm really behind, but I just haven't played the game recently. But this was kind of made aware of me by Yangya. I got suggested a video um, saying that the Starfield developers are going and responding to the negative reviews on Steam, basically defending their own game. Now, I'm not really here to say they shouldn't be doing that or it's completely unhinged for them to do that. I don't think it's necessarily unhinged, but I'm going to go over the reasons as to why I think they shouldn't be doing this. I'm just going to cover what they've been going over and just kind of point something out that, you know, to me, this is kind of just more so far from the truth. Um, you know, I'm someone that has put thousands of hours into a lot of the Bethesda games from 2008 to 2015. I would also say a little bit of Fallout 76, but I only played the beta and then I immediately jump shipped and said, nah, I don't want to play Fallout 76. So, with that being said, and this is kind of strange because they never really did this with Fallout 76, as much of a disastrous launch that game was, especially considering it was memed to hell and back. So this is just kind of new because I think this is something that they spent a lot more time doing, making their game like this. Um, First of all, I'm not going to cover the basic thing that that they're responding with, which is the game is boring. Um, I can't really speak on that because I haven't played the game, nor have I really intended to. It's kind of surprising to see that they're actually saying something to defend their own game. Because, I mean, you, even the worst of games that have high standards, we're talking like Battlefield 2042. Like, this is a game that, like, released, and, and to everyone's non surprise, it was garbage. I mean, it was more garbage than what people were expecting it to be, but it was garbage. And again, not a single word, not a single, nothing, right? Other than the post of, the game is broken, solidifying that they made a tweet about the game being broken. And anyway, point is, they didn't say anything. And they were just like, look, here's the updates that are coming, Here's what we plan to do. Unfortunately for them, it didn't work, right? No one's really talking about Battlefield. No one's really talking about BF 2042 anymore. It's just the case. Like, yeah, you could go back to the game and you could be playing it, but no one's really talking about the game. So now let's go back to Bethesda, who, ironically, has been doing quite the opposite, because they've never really been known to do this before, which is defending their own game. I'm not really sure why they would want to defend their own game when other people could easily do it. But I'll leave it at that. So they've been going into negative comments or negative reviews and commenting on their negative reviews that literally try to get them to come back into the game, to try literally anything else, when that literally anything else is the thing that they did. They tried literally anything else that gave them the feeling that this isn't a good game, and they tried that, and they were like, yeah, this is still not good. So I'm not gonna go over the whole like debacle of what the responses are. Young Yeah did that in his own video, so check out that video, I guess, if you haven't already. One thing I'm going to rant about though is this particular portion, which says, quote, "The combat in Starfield is some of the most advanced in a Bethesda title to this day. It's one of our players' favorite aspect of the game, particularly for those who don't want to bother with a story and want to fulfill their space scoundrel itch." End quote. So this one particularly bothers me, just because I've seen the combat in Starfield, and I I can tell you right now, I have played this game. Now, know that I haven't played this game, but I've played the combat mechanics of this game, and I'll tell you what it is. It's exactly Fallout 4. The combat mechanics of this game is exactly Fallout 4. There's nothing new. Okay? If any of you have played Fallout 4, you have played Starfield. Just already. And I'm going to be completely honest. The Fallout games are way better. Okay? Fallout 4 was way better. Okay? And I know this because I've played Fallout 3 and I've played Fallout 4. Fallout 4, while my opinion of Fallout 4 is, while I think Fallout 3 is the better Fallout game of the franchise that Bethesda's made, and I'm talking specifically Bethesda, not Fallout 1, not Fallout 2. I'm talking about Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is probably the better one, and that game is also showing its age. Okay, this is a game from 2008, and this game is way better than Starfield. Okay, now let me go over why. Now, I don't know if there's any unique weapons in Starfield. Now, what do I mean by unique? You know, in Fallout 3, there's these weapon schematics that you can gather, and you can make these weapons, effectively making them unique weapons, right? You have the bottle cap mine, you have the dart gun, you have the railway rifle. Can you name me a weapon like that in Starfield? If there is those, then sure, okay, fine, whatever. Starfield has it. But I guarantee you they are nowhere near as fun to use than these weapons that I just listed off. The freaking railway rifle, oh my god. Pinning enemies to the walls, or pinning their limbs, or fucking blasting their head off into the ether is like the most funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yes, I've done that before. It's hilarious. When you say this is the most advanced, okay, what does that mean? Does that make it more fun? Like, I doubt there's anything fun about the combat system. Sure, it can be fun, but like, is there any fun defining moments like in Fallout 3 that I mentioned, sending a head off into the freaking ether with a railway spike? Like, that's to me what separates Fallout 3 from the rest of basically any Bethesda game title that has came out since. Okay? And yes, I know Fallout 3 is very, very dated. Okay? You can feel this game's age. Like if you were to launch into Fallout 3 right now, you could probably feel the age of Fallout 3. And that's coming from like the year of what like a lot of good games came out. We're talking like Far Cry 2, Dead Space, Grand Theft Auto 4, Metal Gear Solid 4, Left 4 Dead, Call of Duty World at War, Gears of War 2. I mean, the list is long. Okay? Like, I'm aware. These games are probably way better and probably aged way better than Fallout 3. But I'm telling you right now, Fallout 3 is way better than a game that released in 2023. Okay? And I haven't even played the game. And I can tell you, I pretty much would prefer playing Fallout 3 right now compared to Starfield. And I'm not even judging the game. It's just, I think I would much rather prefer playing a game that I already own and is in my library than buy a game that is already in my library that I've already played. You see, like, there was a video that said Starfield's game design is outdated with, I think that's what it's called, by the decade. I'll put the video up. And uh, like, well, first of all, I recommend that you go watch that video because it was a good video. But I'm just saying, like, I just have to say, like, that's been the company for like 10 years. Like, they haven't made any creative decision that I've wanted to see since like Fallout 4. Even before Fallout 4, I wanted to see some of this stuff. Like, hello, can you play as a super mutant? I think that would be amazing if you could play different factions. Why can't we play as bandits? Yeah, you can be a bandit in Starfield, but at the end of the day, you're still a guy doing a thing. And that thing is kind of boring. And if you really truly wanted to do an RPG, you would just let us play as different factions, play as different races. Heck, you've done it with freaking Skyrim. And you still cannot play as a freaking bandit. Because you can't role play as a bandit because you have to kill bandits. And it makes no freaking sense. What I want to see from Bethesda from here on out, and if they are watching, I hope they listen. Make factions. Okay? It's not that hard. Freaking classic World of Warcraft has this. And that game's been out since like 2004. Fucking Alliance and Horde. And it's literally 4 different races within each faction. 4 classes, or 2 classes, 4 races. Which equals a total of 8. And it's been around since 2004. What the heck is your problem, Bethesda? If you were to ask me what my favorite game was 10 years ago, I would have probably told you Fallout 3 was my favorite game. But now, like, it's hard for me to say that because there's been games that I've played that have literally met those expectations that I could see from Fallout 3. And now Fallout 3 is just it's just kind of like dust at this point. And it's kind of unfortunate because, again, imagine playing as a freaking super mutant in Fallout. I think it would be fun. Or playing as bandits. Or playing, what else is there? Or playing the Enclave. So many missed opportunities, especially in Starfield. Like, all of these things that you can think of would make the game more fun. And no, not being this freaking realistic traveler going from planet to planet and having nothing there where it's supposed to be fun. It's a video game. I would also state that this is sci-fi. Okay? Science fiction, science, fantasy, whatever it is. The minute that this is put into the sci-fi tag, you're throwing that logic out the window. Okay? Any sense of realism out the window. I really think you should have portrayed this game very differently because I even think you as Bethesda had to come to the conclusion, well, if we're just exploring planets, that is going to be fucking boring. And it is. Okay? What matters is making a fun game. Okay? Do the thing that I said. Make factions. Make literally intelligent species. Aliens. I don't even know if aliens are in the game. Make an alien faction. That would be cool. Alien faction. And then be able to play as the alien faction. I'm so sick of playing a regular average Joe when you have all of these other options and you've done all these other options, right? It's why Skyrim got so popular. Because you could play a different race. Literally any race that was in the Skyrim universe. And then, anyway, that's it. That's my rant. I'm over. Goodbye. I'll get back to making classic World of Warcraft content now. I just needed to rant really quick.